this idea you had, very innovative, very loved brand. But at the end of the day, I'm sure a lot of other people were saying, hey, I can do that as well. So what was kind of a differentiation that kept you in the lead?
So, when you're doing franchising, you have to figure out what is it. Our franchisees are our customer, and at the end of it, the end users are our customer, right? So to succeed in franchising, there are two ways to do it. Many concepts will actually do they'll do a burger joint, but then you have to get everything from somewhere else. So that franchisee spends a lot of time, doing all the work to run the burger joint. So I was in business since '86, and I knew at that time there were three challenges that we had. One was the people challenge, that staff, high turnover, lot of repetitive manual work. Labor was very important. Second, was this part of the automation, or whatever you want to call it, where you need to be able to connect it to the customer. The customer must be front and center. And third, you spent a lot of time sourcing. Back in the flower shop days, we reaching out to Colombia and different places in South America to try to get flowers direct, just to stay ahead. So by the time we did edible, we put a whole ecosystem together. It's sort of like the Apple model before Apple, where you kind of have your own supply chain. So we were back in the late 90s, we were in China trying to source food safe containers. They had to be food safe because you couldn't use flower shop containers because they had, lead paint, and they had all these things that food couldn't touch. And from there, we started to design technology so the franchisee could really focus on the customer and focus on that life balance. Because for small business owners, it's a very difficult life for the first 5-6 years, where you're just working, the whole family's working. So whatever ease you can put there, and luckily at the time we did it, by then e-commerce was taking off, POS systems had become common, sourcing from all over the world had become common, and having portals, what they were called portals back then, that you created a little site that a franchisee could go to, place an order, see the systems and all of that. So all that technology background, kind of the international travel. I mean, we traveled a lot, so going to China wasn't difficult, going to Thailand wasn't difficult. So bringing it all together to make it easy for the franchise. And if you did that, scaling is not difficult, because now you have a warehouse that stocks the product, you have an IT team that produces the technology, and you have a training team that onboards the franchisees. So with that mix, now you can scale. So we focused on the 30, but we had built a system by then that can handle 500 or 1,000. We actually slowed it down right before 2008, because by then we had opened about 700, 800 stores, and needed to focus on the quality of those stores. And we got lucky. We slowed it down right before the